Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Thrown under the bus.
No. Always live. Always real. Always unpredictable.
You with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Log on and join our live conversation.
I'm in.
Or just won't let it go.
DBL starts right now.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Thursday, March 14th. We are live and we're talking about what you're talking about right now. I'm here with Tori, Bo, Brandon, and I'm Sam. Let's get started. Well, we have the latest on the shocking college admission scandal that we've been following. Full House star Lori Loughlin is out of federal custody on $1 million bond right now. She was indicted along with dozens of others for allegedly paying large sums of money to guarantee their children spots at elite schools. Meantime, we're also learning that Loughlin's daughter, Olivia Jade, who is facing expulsion from USC, well, she was on spring break in the Bahamas when the story broke. She was reportedly on this yacht, owned by the chairman of the USC's Board of Trustees. That's according to TMZ. Olivia has decided to head back home following the news of her parents' arrests. Another of the parents indicted in this admission scheme was marketing executive Jane Buckingham, and her son is speaking out right now to The Hollywood Reporter saying, "I am upset that I was unknowingly involved in a large scheme that helps give kids who may not work as hard as others an advantage over those who truly deserve those spots. For that, I am sorry. While the situation I'm going through is not a pleasant one, I take comfort in the fact that this might help finally cut down on money and wealth being such a heavy factor in college admissions." Hey, I give him credit for saying this. I really do. I think I feel for the kids in this one. They are being robbed of hustle, of perseverance. Instead, they're gifted humiliation.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure some of these kids didn't know, including some of the stuff we've said, but I don't want to say it out there. But just be wary that might come out later, that some of these kids actually did know what was going on.
They're also 17.
And they're 17, 18.
I'm still not going to fault them, even if I find out.
You're right. But here's the other thing. We now have info that 2 Stanford students are suing William Singer, that's the guy at the head of all this, and 8 colleges for saying they had slots that were closed because of this scheme.
Wow.
So now they're going to a civil suit with this. I don't think they can win, but it's interesting.
I don't know. I mean, you just saw what Jack Buckingham just said, so I feel as though they should use that in court, because you're saying they were robbed, and he's saying that he was a beneficiary and it kind of robbed
But
those
how do you
students.
prove that you could have made it in and were not because of this slot? That's a hard thing to prove in a court.
Okay.
But I think it's a great thing to make noise about.
Yeah.
I kind of echo what I said yesterday, which is I think it's easy, guys, to be outraged at what's going on and outraged at Lori Loughlin, outraged at Felicity Huffman, but we're not looking at the bigger systemic issue, which is the system is designed to be gamed. Okay, let's be honest. Teachers fudge scores so that some athletes, not you, Brandon, can have the scores to stay at the school. Recruiters cheat NCAA standards to recruit better athletes to their school. Admissions officers are cheating their own standards to get wealthy donors. I think when you concentrate power at that high level, it's designed to be gamed. And the way I see it, yes, I went to a great college, but you know what? You don't have to have an elite degree because your entrance criteria are not the same as your potential criteria.
Amen.
I think we just need to see a bigger picture.
It's a fair
Amen.
point, yeah.
And earlier today, I spoke with our friend of the show, Dr. Drupinski, to get his opinion on the parents and kids caught up in the scandal. Here's what he said. Dr. Drew, thank you so much for joining us here at DBL. Now, we got to get your take. What were the parents thinking?
Well, I mean, what were they thinking? I'm certainly they're wondering the same thing themselves now. But I look at this whole thing, and I'm more concerned with the root cause than I am with the outrage that we all feel at what actually went down here. I mean, something is dreadfully wrong. Something is dreadfully wrong in our parenting, and something is dreadfully wrong with our institutions of higher learning. And both are equally culpable here. As I look at this, I just look at the parents. All roads lead to narcissism as far as I'm concerned. So the kids are extensions of the parent. The kids, their achievements are co-opted by the parents, and the failures are things that the parents must rescue them from in all cause.
Wow.
And that is the worst kind of parenting. So that's sort of the root cause issue on the parenting side. On the institution side, they are rapacious, they are hubristic, and they are money hungry. All the while looking at other people and judging how they operate in a capitalist system. No institutions in our society are more rapacious than our institutions of higher learning right now.
Yeah, a dangerous concoction, and the narcissism and an extension of themselves. I did not even think about that. What about the kids? How is this going to impact them now?
You know, the kids probably feel a deep sense of shame. I feel bad for the kids.
Me too.
I feel bad for the kids all the way along here, because when your parents are carrying out these unconscionable acts, you aren't really a part of it. You aren't really thinking about it. I mean, I suppose if a child sat back and went, hey, wait a minute, I'm getting more time for my ECT test and my peers didn't, maybe I shouldn't do this, or maybe I had to bring it up. You don't tend to do that when you're 17 years of age. You're a part of the system with your parents. And when it's a narcissistic system, it's that much harder to separate yourself out to see what's going on. So I feel terrible for these kids. Now, just more evidence of how broken the admission system is. I promise you, I bet that all these kids that got in by nefarious means are probably performing at a very high level at these institutions. It's not like they don't belong there. I think you're going to find that they shouldn't be there, but they don't. It's not like they don't belong there. And again, signs that there's something wrong with the admissions process, which is what makes the parents so desperate. Then you add in the narcissism, and then you have a scandal.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you for your take again, and have a great day, Drew.
All right, Sam, see ya.
He just nailed it.
Yeah.
It's nailed it. It's the two things, and they're both culpable. Just like he said, the higher learning and the narcissism. What you said, it's a perfect storm.
Because elitism breeds elitism. They're creating a system that is designed to be gamed because they need the wealthy donors. Top 25 elite schools do this because they want better athletes. They want everything they can to increase their wealth and their stature. What are you going to do? You're going to create an admissions process that's designed to get people.
And meanwhile, the poor kids who are on financial aid spend the rest of their lives paying off that student debt. None of it is good. None of it is good.
I just paid off my student debt.
That's Obama paid it off at 41.
Even though I had a scholarship at UCLA, as soon as I quit swimming, oh my God, am I now responsible? And I literally just paid off my student debt.
Mazel tov, Sam.
And you're still paying off yours. I know.
It's expensive.
Not a system
and I think about it might have been 36,000 at the time. I think it's up to 70 or 80. It's obscene.
Well, I know.
So I'm wondering, can they be charged under RICO then? Racketeering, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act? Because what you have here is fake charities, you have admissions people involved, you have coaches involved, and you have money being racketeered. Can they be charged under RICO?
Great point. Great point.
Let's get rid of the bonds, please. The fact that rich people get to go home and sit on their couch.
She's already out.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Whew. Well, actor Jussie Smollett is back in a Chicago courtroom today. So let's get to Raquel Villanueva. She is the news at the moment.
Well, Sam, Jussie Smollett strutted back into court with the same confidence he had on Tuesday. Only this time he's being arraigned. The Empire actor pleaded not guilty to 16 counts of disorderly conduct after being accused of lying to police about being the victim of a hate crime. And last night, art imitated life as Empire made its return, featuring Jussie. His character Jamal complains he had a tough week. Jussie will be back in court in April.
That Beyonce formation is going to be made fun of on SNL, and it's going to be hilarious. But second off, that is a choreographed move. They're going to do it every single day. It's going to be an army. It's the Smollett Army.
Why don't they just cut his scenes?
Oh, they are. They already shot them.
They already shot them.
It might not have made sense with the plot.
I also think that's another sign of narcissism. We saw that with Harvey Weinstein.
Correct.
Almost craving that attention.
Bill Cosby, remember that? The smirky.
And the ratings went down for the premiere last night. The mid-season premiere for Empire.
That's a shame. I feel, if that's in direct correlation because of him, I feel for all those other people involved in that show.
The crew members, everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't mess up the check.
Exactly. Beto O'Rourke just announced he is running for president. The Texas Democrat joins an already very crowded field of Democratic hopefuls. Take a look at his announcement.
Amy and I are happy to share with you that I'm running to serve you as the next president of the United States of America. This is going to be a positive campaign that seeks to bring out the very best from every single one of us, that seeks to unite a very divided country.
O'Rourke is a former Texas representative who shot to fame during his close race for the Senate against Republican Senator Ted Cruz. Cruz ultimately won the race, and O'Rourke is also on this newly released Vanity Fair cover. In a photograph shot by Annie Leibovitz, O'Rourke says in the article that he's, quote, just born to do this. Many people are looking for him to come. You're our D.C. insider, Tori. A lot of people are hoping he's going to be the next front runner. What do you say to that?
I'm not on so far the Beto train, and I'll just tell you why. One, I don't love the inexperience. We've come from inexperience. We have a chaotic president. I don't love what's happened there once you see the reality of that. I like an elder statesman or woman, let's be honest. I also think he hasn't really stood for very much for me, and I don't know if it's a flash in the pan of like his pop culture celebrity that's really giving him.
So you think he can talk the talk, but can he walk the walk?
Yeah, and I really, at this point, when your pendulum has swung so far into the outsider, which Trump is, I would like and feel more comfortable, I think America would, with someone that's been in the trenches. He has not done very well in terms of winning or making bills. He's also paired with Republicans 167 times. Not the most progressive, even though he comes off like a Beastie Boy.
Maybe that's a good bipartisan solution?
It could be. I just think at some point he has the stamina. He's a rower. But when you have an elder statesman, I just feel I'm more comfortable with that.
I tend to agree with you there.
Do you?
What do you think, Bo?
I don't know where his campaign headquarters going to be. The dentist office?
Why would you say that?
Because he did his whole Instagram thing from he was talking about border security while he was getting his teeth cleaned.
Because he's one of the people.
Right. Yeah, one of the people know his father-in-law is worth $20 billion.
Yeah.
People need to know that he's not the friend of the common man. He's got a real problem down in El Paso too. If you look up Barrio Residence, there's an issue with him and his father-in-law trying to rezone El Paso, so that doesn't look good. But I think you speak to an interesting point, Tori, about the Democratic Party and where it's going to go. Do you take the elder statesman approach? Do you take the Bernie Sanders approach?
Experience?
The Biden approach?
Right, the lion of the Senate, right?
You know, I think Beto would lose his home state, to be quite honest with you. I think he'd lose Texas to Trump. I'm more concerned as a Republican about someone like Kamala Harris, who is a debater. She's a prosecutor. She's got California behind her.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but former Republican Governor Mike Huckabee said that Republicans shouldn't underestimate this guy, though. So now that he's come out and said that, are you worried?
No. I think when it goes one-on-one, I mean, look what Trump did to the Republican Party.
Who do you think is the biggest threat to Trump's presidency?
I would probably say Kamala Harris again, just because she's female, she's African-American, she's got a lot of steam behind her, she's got California.
Just wait.
You know, but I think you just have to see them in one-on-one.
Just wait. Who do you think, Tori?
Who do you think?
I'm just biding my time.
Yeah,
Biden her time. We get it.
We get it.
DBL is live. We'll bring you breaking news as soon as it happens. Coming up, Paige Davis is back with an all-new Trading Spaces, and she fesses up about the homeowners who hated their makeovers. Uh-oh. You want to hear all about it. And next up, you, the viewer, are our fifth host. It's a school fundraising idea that made a ton of money, but do you think parents should be able to bid on the teachers they want for their kids? We're reading your comments coming up next.
Obama, kind of a freshman senator from Chicago, not a lot of experience. And that's very true. The problem is, a lot of people complained he didn't get a lot done because he didn't know the ins and outs of the Senate and the Congress.
Well,
when you have Biden and Sanders, they've been there for years.
At the same time, Obama was groomed and he was the right man for his time. He was interesting, he was novel, he had charisma. I think I think Beto's trying a lot harder than Obama was. Obama was a junior senator. There was steam behind him.
And I think they're trying too hard because you're going up against a celebrity.
I'm way
Trump
more
is
confident,
way more celebrity.
and I'm way more confident with a Biden or a Sanders. People that have been in the trenches for so long.
But Sam, old rich white men.
Yeah, but Kamala Harris could be a great VP. Honestly. Yeah, but I'm serious. I think a Biden-Harris ticket would be phenomenal.
Well, you could say that Bernie Sanders is an old rich man now, but he wasn't 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, that's
he
true.
came from nothing. He came from nothing.
And
that's
he
a man that walks
protested,
the
got
walk. Whether you
arrested.
disagree or agree with his policies, that's a man that you can actually look at what he voted on 30 years ago.
You're
and
right.
He still stands for
Sanders
today.
Harris would be a great Sanders Warren. I mean, you do need a woman.
The
You
reason
can't
why I
have
say
two white
Kamala
old
is,
guys.
you just have to think about the fact when you go one-on-one against a guy like Trump, who has a certain debate style, you can't play it standard. Ted Cruz played it standard. Kasich played it standard. And Hillary played it standard.
Oh, yeah,
and if you don't push back in the way he pushes, he forces things out of your mouth you're not expecting.
But Bernie has never played it standard. So I think Bernie Trump could be a big moment. Yeah. But if you give me a Harris, which can take on the prosecutorial aspect of it, I've got Sanders over here, but I've got a black woman over here representing a lot of people who haven't seen
That's why I think Booker and Harris have more charisma to attack.
I like Booker.
You do?
I like Booker.
Booker grandstands for me. I don't care
I like
for
Booker
it.
a lot.
A lot for
He walks the walk too, man.
He does. He does. And Gayle
too.
King loves him. So I'm like, okay, maybe.
Welcome back to DBL. A fundraiser at a Portland elementary school is causing outrage, rightfully so. Teachers were put up for auction, and parents were able to bid on who they want to teach their child next year. 6 parents ended up placing bids, raising over $1,000. The school has since apologized and refunded the money. But what do you think, DBL Nation? Should parents be able to bid for who they want teaching their kids? Let's get right to your comments.
All right, Marilee on Facebook says, I can see why parents want to do this. My kids have had some terrible teachers. I've spent thousands of dollars on private tutoring to get my child caught up. You know, honestly, guys, I don't have a problem with this because I like what they were trying to do. The PTA ultimately has apologized to the teachers, and teachers that didn't go for that much money, don't worry, I didn't get drafted by the NFL, so I know how you feel. But the bake sales, the cookie sales, the car washes, that only makes you so much money. And I feel like doing something like this brings some sort of pride to the school as well. It just backfires.
How does it make the teachers that don't get picked feel?
Yeah,
it doesn't.
What if your
teach
family,
better? Teach better.
What if your family doesn't have the money? So then the parents with the money, they're allowed to pick their teachers, and then the parents with no money, they get the crappy
teachers. So that's the flaw. That's the only flaw that I saw in it. But if you can find out, but you're still raising money. But how are you supposed to get #2 pencils?
Well, you're also making your teachers feel terrible.
And eerily reminiscent of Operation Varsity Blues, where you're paying your way to get it.
Amen. Amen.
Cheyenne, I hope I'm saying that right on Facebook, says, I'm on the fence about it. Students who have wealthy families can afford the good teachers, whereas the poor students cannot. But it points out the issue as to who's a good teacher and who is not. As Brandon was saying, I completely disagree. Have an anonymous review system. Have me review it. I don't need you to pay for a teacher. They feel terrible. They're not getting paid. They're overworked. Terrible idea. Terrible. Say it again.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I'm with Tori on this. Michaela on Facebook says it should be allowed, and the winning teachers should get raises. Michaela, I just so respectfully disagree about this. I think this is reminiscent of Operation Varsity Blues. You should not cheat and pay your way to get a better teacher.
Tell people what Operation Varsity Blues is.
Well, it's what we just discussed in the first block, which is basically the admission scandal. Having influence, buy your way into a better school. You don't see that?
This is different.
No, it isn't. It's the same thing.
It undermines every teacher that's getting underpaid to do what they do.
It gives the rich people power. Do you not see that?
You have to teach better. I understand what you guys are saying about giving the rich people power.
Just people don't like.
I want my kid to get that teacher because that teacher brings energy.
But if you don't have money, you got no shot. How is that fair for the family with no money?
And it's not indicative of the quality of the teacher. Maybe they're trying to bid for a teacher who gives easy grades.
Let's get Dale on Twitter in. Dale on Twitter says this is insane. They aren't property. It should never be allowed. And again, it's only allowing for the people with money to have the power. And again, that's going to promote, unfortunately, discrimination. Not okay, in my book. Coming up on DBL, the hit show Trading Spaces is back, and host Paige Davis spills all about secrets about the most cringeworthy reveals. See if you agree. That's coming up next.
So Stephen Hill brings up a great point. Hey, Tori, Kamala Harris is a rookie, too. Not enough trenches for her as well. Totally agree. That's why I think she's going to go into the VP position, which I think would be great for her, because I think we need that representation in the White House, in the West Wing. But do I think she can also kill in a debate? Yes. But I'm someone that thinks of a pendulum, so swing with me, Peter. We went all the way over here, and we were very progressive, and Obama was, yes, we can, and people felt like they wanted an outsider. So we went all the way over here, and we got to Trump, who's the outsider, right? I have no experience, but I'm going to plow through, and I'm going to be the chaotic president. And pendulums want America to be right in the middle. That's where America feels safe. That's where they like it. So to me, I want you to think of someone who can not only debate, but can feel safe to people. And to me, that means experience. It means someone who's actually been there and knows the ways in and outs. Now, I'm not talking Biden because I think he knows his way in and out. I'm saying he's a public servant. Bernie Sanders, public servant. These people have spent their whole lives doing it. I don't know who I'm going to go for. I'm just saying I think this needs to come back to that. Does that make sense? Trading Spaces, one of my favorite shows, was one of the very first DIY home makeover shows on TV. And after being off the air for 10 years, it's back with the show's unforgettable host, Paige Davis. I caught up with Paige about what it's like to pair up designers with neighbors to do a makeover, a room in each other's homes. She shared with me that the reveals, they're not always a happy ending. So take a look at today's Chatting with the Stars. Welcome to Daily Blast Live. Paige, thank you so much for being here. Now, would you trust any of your neighbors, Paige, to personally make over a room in your house? And my favorite question is, what designer would you want to pair them with?
You do have to trust your neighbors to do a good job, like to execute it. But it's really the designer that comes up with the concept. And so it really is, you know, would you trust any Trading Spaces designer in your home? And as far as that goes, I would trust them all. I would even trust Hildy. I would actually love Hildy to design a room in my house. Open your eyes and see your new living room.
The reveals have not always had a happy ending. What reaction do you remember most? And there's been a few.
Oh, well, I mean, there's the most infamous.
You guys are going to be fixing that in a little bit.
The fireplace.
Yep.
You know, she was very upset that we had covered her fireplace. And then the episode where Jessie hated Brown and she started choking her neighbor. That is the only episode in Trading Spaces history where the neighbors were no longer friends.
I was going to ask
after, you know, having a negative reveal. And I'm always worried it's not going to be finished on time. Like, none of that is acting on my part. Like,
that's real.
I never think they're going to finish. The rooms always are in a shambles, like 30 minutes leading up to time's up. And I'm always astounded that the designer and the team pulls it together.
Now, this is a question for you. It's a really simple show, and it was off the air for a decade, but it's so relevant, and people just love it. It gives me such a sense of comfort. It's like mac and cheese in a TV show. Why do you think that is?
It really is.
Isn't it?
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it was the first.
Yeah.
So there was this sort of attachment to the fandom. We have very, very, very loyal fans.
So loyal.
And I think that our camaraderie as a cast kind of pops off the screen. And I often liken it to people watching Friends, the television show Friends. Like, when you're watching that show, you want to hang out with those 6 friends at Central Perk. And I think that people felt that way about the cast of Trading Spaces. Like, I want to hang out with them.
Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be sure to tune in for season 10.
Thank you, Tori.
Isn't she the best? We'll be right back.
Promotional
Welcome back to DBL. Today we're kicking off our special TV Legends Where Are They Now series. It's time to catch up with the stars from some of your favorite classic shows. So just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip. Sound familiar? I had the honor of sitting down with the iconic Dawn Wells, who played Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island. It was amazing. Check it out.
Is there any lighting around here? Can we please get some help?
All right, guys, I'm here with the one, the only Mary Ann, Dawn Wells. So congratulations on the 55th anniversary of Gilligan's Island.
How could that
so
happen
exciting.
to me? I'm only 22.
It had a cultural impact.
Yes, it did.
I want to know, sort of in a deeper question, what does that mean for you?
So we were a family, but not related. And that was very interesting, I think.
Let me ask you about that. Now we have the Me Too movement, right? You were a heartthrob, and you still are to a lot of the people on my set that were excited that I'm going to meet you today. How do you feel about the Me Too movement now?
I think it's time. I mean, I think we were at the last of being really so puritanical.
Did you ever experience anything where you felt, oh, if I were a man, it would be easier?
No.
Good.
I think it's easier for women.
Oh, I like that. What was it like for you when it ended?
Well, and we thought we'd be renewed. We were still in the top 10 when we were canceled.
Now, you were very vocal about the cast not really being profited from the show in sort of residuals. People assume y'all are multi-millionaires on your yacht.
We got paid for the first 7 runs of each show.
That was it.
That's it. And we've never been off the air since 1964, and we're in 30 languages all over the world. I'd be sitting on a yacht cruising the Mediterranean.
You have your own Gilligan's Island.
Exactly. You could come visit.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it's amazing. But you can't be bitter. You know, the residuals didn't even exist 50 years before that.
A lot of people asked, who do you like, Mary Ann or Ginger, right? There was always that setup.
Yes, always.
Tell me about Tina Louise, your relationship.
I learned a lot about her. She was a movie star, and she knew exactly what she was doing in front of the camera. I think there was a competition from her particularly, because I think she might have been cast as the movie star and thought, it might have been her role.
Yeah.
We were all pretty equal, except for Bob and Alan.
If you were stranded now on an island, which of the cast would you feel best to be stranded with?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. The professor, but I loved Alan too, and Bob.
Now I see some of your clothes here. How was being in those denim shorts? They'd seem high. You had to cover your belly button.
Had to cover the belly button.
Was it hot? What was it, uncomfortable?
No, they were the stretch denim.
Okay, good.
But my legs aren't real long, you know, but I wanted to make sure that they were cut up so they looked longer. I mean, it's all an illusion.
For sure.
And I never ate past noon. No. I'm standing next to Tina Louise, who's got legs up to here. I'm not stupid.
You're on an island, but you're not
right.
stupid. I love that. So there's a classic TV star cruise going on that is coming up, and you are with a bunch of people.
Who am I with?
All right, you're with Kathy Garver, you got Barry Williams, you got J.J. Walker, you got John Provost, you got Judy Norton,
And the rest.
That's it.
Come join us. We'll have
I
fun.
can't wait. Let's sail away together. Is there any kind of juicy gossip?
I wouldn't tell you. Mary Ann would keep her mouth shut.
Mary Ann would keep her mouth shut. With Dawn?
Yes, I'm not telling you a thing.
I was going to say, if there was a crush, it's you and the professor, am I right?
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. It's such an honor. I'm going to start crying, so we're going to go.
Okay. I'm going to cry too. Don't leave me.
It was so wonderful meeting you. What an honor. Thank you so much.
Have a good day. Thank you, dear.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. What do we got, Tori?
Well, Carol Kremen wrote us an email and said, this is wrong on so many levels, speaking about the admissions scandal, but not surprising to many. And I think that's what we're hearing more and more about. It affirms what many have believed for years.
Yeah.
While those who have broken the law should be brought to justice, I don't believe their alleged crime justifies the abuse of power the FBI displayed. So we're getting a lot of people saying the FBI shouldn't have come in with guns drawn on, let's say, Felicity Huffman. But in the break, as Brandon and I were saying, they have to. Any raid, you have to protect yourself.
Yeah. And
so you don't know if the person's unstable.
Yeah, unstable, or they could be registered gun owners. You're going into someone's house.
They have to protect themselves,
too. And let's be honest, and I also want to say my sister, who just turned 40 recently, went to Brandeis, then AU, and she got in by herself. She just graduated from Lesley University, summa cum laude, online. So for someone who did it the right way.
That's what I mean. It's like I just can't.
She worked her butt off for that.
I can't reiterate enough. You don't have to have an elite degree to become a professional.
Exactly.
To have success. You just don't need
and
it.
maybe college isn't right for you. We heard that from Lori Laughlin's daughter herself. She didn't say college wasn't the right place for her.
If it wasn't for football, I wouldn't have gone to college.
It's a business, and you're going in great amounts of debt to do it, to be saddled with debt.
If it's right for you, it's right for you. But you see too many parents, as Dr. Drew said so perfectly, using their children as extensions of themselves. It becomes a status symbol, and that's where it's dangerous. Wow. We will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye. it.